Hey, welcome back. So today we're going to here's our photograph, and yesterday we took it to this step right here, which looks really rough. We just kind of got some of the tones and the changes of color in the skin in there, and then today we're going to take it to this nice and smooth, which looks creepy without the eyeball in there and no eyelashes or anything yet. So it looks a little creepy without it, but you can see how smooth the skin is, how we no longer look really, let me find it, no longer look choppy. So if yours looks like this right here, don't worry, I'll show you how to take it and make it smooth and get it like this. All right, so let's go ahead and begin. I'm gonna come back here. First thing I want you to do is I found a mixer brush that I really like for this project, and it's called, if you click up here, and it's under General Brushes, it's called Soft, Round, Opacity, and Flow. This one right here. So I think this one is a great one. So for your mixer brush, why don't you select that? And then let's go ahead and get started. So I am using the digital drawing tablet. I know some of you don't like that, and if you don't, that's fine, but I think that it's very helpful. Let's talk about your layers for a second. I have my drawing tablet backwards. Hang on a second. Okay, so when you look at your layers over here, I've got several layers. I have the background photograph on top of a background, and then I have the sketch, which is right here. You can't really see very well, but I can turn it on and off. And I'm going to turn it off because I don't need it anymore. I like to keep the eyeball because it kind of creeps me out without the eyeball, but I'll get rid of that in a minute. And then I have a layer called Skin where I actually painted on top of this. So for you guys, you want to go ahead and make sure that you have a layer that's separated from your sketch. If it's too late, it's too late, but it's good to have these. When I do the eye next, I'll probably separate that so it's on a different layer than the skin. All right, so here we go. I'm using the mixer brush, and what you want to do when you mix this skin is that you don't want to over blend. So I'm on the soft, round, opacity, and flow, which is what I like, and I'm just going to do strokes. So I'm using this is where it's nice to have the digital drawing tablet, because it checks your pressure. So the harder you press down, the harder it kind of smudges. The less you press, the less it does. Whatever color you have here is what it's going to blend. So for right now, I'm going to take my eyedropper tool, which is shortcut I on your keyboard, and I'm going to pick up this color because it had a lighter one and it just quite didn't do what it's too streaky. So I'm going back to the mixer brush, which if you forgot is underneath your brush tool, and the shortcut is B. And I'm just going to start right where the edges are. So I really don't want to go crazy and go all over the place. I want the colors to stay the same, but my goal is right where the edging is to go ahead and start smoothing it. And sometimes my streaks, like I'm doing like short strokes. I'm gonna kind of push out that color. When you get here, I'm gonna blend it. If it's going too much or too fast, you can change what's called your flow and slow it down a little bit. And I find that a lower flow fits me better. I don't want it to get too streaky or too mixed looking. I want this to be really soft and subtle. So again, I'm taking my time with this. This is not a fast process. All right. Also, you can change like the wetness right here. If you click on custom, you can see that you have the option of making what would be like a very wet brush. You're basically mixing paint into paint if you were really painting. You could just make it slightly moist, or you can make it dry. I'm gonna say moist light mix. And I can see that it slows it down so that it doesn't make it too fast of a change. I want to make this like a subtle change as I go and start to smooth my skin out. So for you guys, you're really just going to have to get in there and play around with some of these options and see what you like. You may not like the soft, round, opacity, and flow. I really like it. So it's just playing around. You can also change the hardness of it or the softness of it, and the size of it as you mix and work. But if it doesn't look good to you or doesn't feeling like it's flowing right, change your options. So for me right now, like I might bring my flow up a little bit more. Your main goal is to get in there, and like right now where it's bringing too much of a light, I could go in with an eyedropper tool and pick like a medium gray go back to my paintbrush and blend it out a little bit more. Okay, so again, your goal is to just take your time. You could change it to a larger size if you need to. And if you're using the digital drawing tablet, a light pressure really gets in there and it doesn't over blend it. It allows you to just do like a barely kind of mix. If you're using the mouse, you can't control that. So that's why I like the digital drawing tablet, because you can get in there and you can really kind of light pressure and get it to blend. Your hardest change is going to be this very light to this very dark. These right here are much easier to do, okay? And again, don't go crazy and go drawing all over the place. You're just wanting to mix in your edges where the color was laid down and it was changed, where it's drastic, okay? You don't want to go crazy everywhere else because you want those shades to stay the same. Also important is to keep referencing back to your photo and look. Are you over blending to where you lose this beautiful highlight here and this dark shadow here and this mid-tone? I mean, look at this eyelid. It goes from like a medium to a bright light and then back to a medium. There's shadows. Look at that dark shadow right there. If you over blend, you're not going to see that. So you can see on mine, my finished one, I got that dark shadow and I got that subtle change. And if you can go from light to medium to dark, that is the key to drawing realistically. Right there is the key to making something look smooth and beautiful. You have to take your time with it and not rush it. And play around with your brushes as you work. There we go. I couldn't find the one. And so I'm going to do it in like the curve of where the eyebrow would be, right? I want to keep it the same curve as what the actual skin would be. And using the drawing tablet, I can just do a light pressure and start to come in here and very slowly blend it to the way I want it to be. Look at that. That's already starting to take shape and look beautiful. So at this point, some helpful hints for you as you get going. You could turn off the photograph if you want, or if you need it to make you feel like, for me, it looks creepy without an eyeball. You could leave your sketch on if you need that outline to know where to go. But if I take the sketch off and I take the photograph off, I can really see just the skin area and know where I need to focus and blend. Okay? All right, guys, have fun with this. Next time I send a tutorial or do a tutorial, it's going to be starting the eyeball. Remember, absolutely no eyebrow hair or eyelashes until the end. That is like the icing on the cake. You have to, you know, do your cake first, your base first, before you can put any detail on. So absolutely do not do eyelashes, eyebrow hair, just do your skin, and then we'll move on. We'll lock our skin layer and we'll move on and do a new layer and do the eyeball. All right, let me know if you have any questions, and good luck.